Hi, this is Natalie DiMarino, and you guys are watching the Miss Pittsburgh Showcase. Today I am here with Wadria Taylor. Hi, Wadria. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to get to talk to you about, so you are the producer of Pittsburgh Style Week, correct?
Correct, yes.
That's incredible. And how long have you been doing this?
Well, this is our 4th year.
Really?
Yes, we're gearing up for our 4th series of events, August 18th through the 21st.
That's incredible. So what got you into doing Pittsburgh Style Week?
Honestly, it was not planned. I have an events and marketing company, Style and Steel, and I've planned a series of different fashion productions. And over the years, I've just discovered that there are a lot of what I call gems here in Pittsburgh. There are a lot of great boutiques, designers, artists, musicians, and so Style Week is basically an event that brings them all together and promote what it is that they have to offer. So it was just really on a whim. I just kept discovering different gems and found that they needed a platform to cultivate their work and also share what they're doing with people here in the city.
So these are small local groups and businesses that are trying to get off the ground, or?
Some of them. Some brands are already established. Some are very new. Like over the years, we have worked with a lot of fashion trucks. So 2 years ago when we produced Style Week, fashion trucks at that time had not really made it to Pittsburgh yet. And Style Week that year was a launching pad for some of those fashion trucks like Style Truck, like Broke Little Rich Girl.
Okay.
And so it's a multitude of brands. Some are new, some are established. What I found, I'm not from Pittsburgh originally, I'm a transplant from Brooklyn.
Okay.
And what I find here is that you have businesses and brands that have been here for like years and years and years, and yet people who are locals to Pittsburgh have no idea that some of these businesses exist, so such as boutiques and designers, stylists, photographers. And so what I realized is that there needed to be someone to really promote them and to make them more visible in Pittsburgh and beyond.
Well, that's fantastic. So how did you get from Brooklyn to Pittsburgh?
I came for college. I went to
Really?
Pitt. Yes,
Oh,
I
okay.
had never heard of Pittsburgh before. I came in 2002, and yeah, it was to start my college journey. And honestly, I didn't plan on staying here. When I first arrived, it was a bit of culture shock for me. But once I discovered people and things that really resonated with me, I was able to find my purpose and the role that I was able to play in kind of helping Pittsburgh become more vibrant and more attractive to persons like myself and to even people that are already living here.
I mean, Pittsburgh is the 6th largest growing place for jobs right now in the country. So I'm sure you're adding to that and bringing some more people in here as well, and that's fantastic. I mean, I'm sure that there are definitely places that I do not know of, like boutique-wise, and definitely photographers. I'm starting to get into all that, and so that'd be kind of cool if I meet some new people and see what kind of businesses they have. That's awesome.
Definitely.
So through starting this, I mean, what were some of the lessons you learned from like getting started in this? I mean, I've never heard of a Style Week before, and I'm sure you have come across many different things on your journey and through your 4th one now. So.
Yeah, I've learned a lot about knowing your why, just as a business owner, as when you're doing things that are new and you're doing something that is not the norm, so to speak, you really have to have a clear sense as to why it is that you're doing it. So that's been one of the big learnings for me as I go forward with producing these events. These events typically are not really what Pittsburgh might be accustomed to.
Yeah.
Like this year, we're opening up with an event which is a fashion show, an exhibition. It will be at the Carnegie Museum of Art. And what we're doing with this event is we're looking at the 1920s and 1960s, and particularly the women's rights movement and the role that fashion plays in that. We're also featuring photographs from Teenie Harris, and we have 2 amazing designers, James Hook and Lisa Kassler, that are basically creating collections based on the 20s and 60s. So the fact that I get to work with such great people and the fact that I get to help them to just cultivate their work and share what it is that they do is really the why. So I think you always have to, no matter what your role is, whether you're an entrepreneur, you're producing an event, you always have to have a really strong sense as to why you're doing it.
Yeah, I mean that's fantastic advice. I mean, especially for anybody who is looking to get into something new and starting off or being an entrepreneur. I mean, it's hard these days to get started and get on your feet with so much competition and so many fantastic people. So that's awesome. That's definitely awesome advice that I will definitely keep in mind.
Yeah.
So when you went to Pitt, what did you study?
I studied philosophy and politics.
Okay. So
Yeah.
how did you get from that into fashion?
Well, basically, it was really at Pitt. I produced one of the big fashion shows. I was a part of an organization called the Black Action Society, and they produced a big fashion show every year. And my junior year, I had the opportunity to co-produce that event. And so that was really my first like fashion event that I had been directly involved in, and
Okay.
I would say that was sort of like even a launching pad for me into getting involved in the fashion arena here in Pittsburgh.
And so do you use your degree at all, or do you you went to college and now you've spiraled off into something else that's fantastic? And
Well, I also have an MBA, so I definitely use my degrees
Okay.
in the sense of with philosophy and politics. Honestly, it's about, it comes back to having a value system and having a really clear sense as to, as a person, just what it is that you're here to do. So believe it or not, I'm a very spiritual person, and I always come back to being driven by having a purpose. And so my studies over the years, even in when I did my MBA, I went to Carlo, which is a much different environment from Pitt, a lot smaller. But certainly I learned a lot from that program that has allowed me to develop some more of the technical aspects of what you need to know and have to establish a solid business. So yeah,
Okay,
not so much the political side of it, but yeah,
a little different
certainly.
from fashion, but you know.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So when you moved from Brooklyn to Pittsburgh, how was your family supportive of that? Tell me a little bit about your family.
Well, I'm from Jamaica originally, and yes, my parents were not excited about me coming to Pittsburgh. I'm the youngest and the only girl, so certainly growing up, I was treated that way. I was very sheltered. I grew up in a very strict household, so coming to Pittsburgh was definitely a far stretch. But my parents also, since I've been a child, I've always been very strong-minded in that when I have my mind set on something, I make it happen. So it definitely took some cajoling. It took a lot of it took a lot of conversations and some arguments. But I made it here, and I'm so fortunate that I did, because so much of who I've become, what I've become involved in, it all happened here in Pittsburgh. So for me, at the end of the day, even though I'm always traveling, and I certainly have more of a global view in terms of things I want to do in the future, but Pittsburgh, I feel, will always be one of my one of my bases. There's a lot happening here right now, and I'd like to continue being a part of it.
Yeah, for sure. There's always something going on. There's always something different. I love coming into the city. There's so many opportunities. So for sure, definitely stick around. But do you think that if you did move out of the city, do you think you would ever try to do Style Week in a different city?
Oh, definitely. I've already have plans on expanding to not only other cities but other countries. Style Week happens globally. When I first learned about it, it was actually in Jamaica. It was April of 2013 when I first learned of this whole Style Week. Style Week happens in Kingston, and I later learned that there's a Style Week in Cambridge, a Style Week in Miami. And so, yeah, it's definitely something that I have plans in the future as I grow and as I travel and go to different places and identify the opportunities there and the same needs that Pittsburgh creatives have as far as a platform to showcase and elevate and promote them. So it's really identifying the city that has the need, and also, a place that I'd also like to be as well. So that's to be continued.
Yeah. Now, so Pittsburgh Style Week is 4 nights, correct?
Correct.
And so how do you decide what the theme is going to be for each night of the week?
It's really based very organically on, for me first, it's what I'm inspired by. As someone who is behind the scenes producing the event, I honestly, personally have to have a resonance with what's happening. So each year, I very carefully think and process. I look at what's happening in the city. I look at what are some of the brands that might be new or brands that really have something unique to offer, and then I start from there. So this year with our opening event, I already mentioned that one that's going to be at the Carnegie Museum of Art. One of our signature events that happens annually is the Style Awards. So that event is happening the following day on Friday. And then on the Saturday, we'll be at Ace Hotel, which I'm so excited about. It's an awesome hotel. A lot of people are loving it right now. They have a lot of cool events there already, but I'm happy that Style Week will be there for an event this year, and it will really be a celebration of music. We'll have some really awesome DJs, live bands. We have a pop-up shop, and we'll end this year with a brunch, which will be at Revel and Roost. And Revel and Roost is relatively new as far as a restaurant being. And we'll be there with a bunch of tastemakers, innovators, entrepreneurs, having a fabulous brunch. But the kicker is that we'll also be having a great conversation around the role that artists, entrepreneurs, and creatives play as far as impacting social change and advancing diversity and inclusion here in the region. So it's a mouthful, but each event is unique. You will meet a lot of great people, very diverse persons from different backgrounds. So I'm super excited, and the venues are great, which is another draw with Style Week. Is I like to have each event at different venues each year to really encourage persons here in Pittsburgh to cross-pollinate. You know, go to a neighborhood or community or a venue that you haven't been before, and with these events being there, it gives them a reason to actually check it out.
I'm very excited, especially about the brunch, especially to be able to talk to so many different people. But we'll be back shortly. We'll talk to Wadria about the more things that she has going on with Style Week and get a little more information from her. You are currently watching the Miss Pittsburgh TV showcase, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. This is your host, Natalie DiMarino, and you're watching the Miss Pittsburgh TV showcase. We've been talking to Wadria about all the fantastic things that she has planned for Style Week this year. It's going to be August 18th through 21st. Many different locations, many cool events that are going to be happening that week. And so, Wadria, what is your favorite memory from a past Style Week?
Oh my gosh. Oh, there have been many. I would say one of them, there are quite a few. One of them was actually our first year. We opened up at Perle. That was our kickoff event for Style Week. And I remember towards the end of the event, we featured a designer by the name of Lana Neumeyer. She's a Brazilian designer based here in Pittsburgh, and her collection it's very much inspired by her culture. And I remember towards the end of the night when she had just shown her collection, and she had the opportunity to come out, as designers do at the end of a show, and do her walkthrough, receive the applause from the audience. And I remember they were playing a Brazilian song, and Lana is just a very vivacious person. Like, she has a very bold personality. And as they're playing this music, she doesn't like walk down the aisle, like she starts dancing, and then she pulls me. She pulls me to walk with her, and I was actually wearing one of her designs, which was, I mean, I felt like a princess that night. So she pulled me to walk with her, and it was just a really, because usually when you're producing an event, you're so concerned with logistics, making sure that everything flows well. So it was just nice to share that moment with her. Another awesome or favorite memory has also been really what happens after. Like every single year, like one of our outcomes is for people to collaborate with each other, and every year we have that. So it's been awesome to see the collaborations and connections that are made, with people like after the event, as far as them working on different projects with one another. Another favorite memory was at our opening event at the Priory. This is also a couple years ago, and I remember we did something new. We had models that were doing like still posing leading into the fashion show. So it was really different and cool, and it was received well, but those are some of the memories I have.
That's awesome. So when you first started out, what was your biggest concern with getting Style Week off the ground?
Wow, my biggest concern was just getting it off the ground. It was making it happen because I learned about it in April of 2013. I was literally in Jamaica when I was meeting with this gentleman who has a blog in Jamaica called kingstonstyle.com. And it was literally in that moment that I had a light bulb moment to say, like, you need to do something like this in Pittsburgh. And from April to August is a time that we had to plan.
Wow.
And that year, I think we did 5 events. Yeah, so it was a huge feat. So the main thing that year was really just making it happen. I had never done being an event planner. Of course I've planned like countless events, but I've never planned 5 or 4 events that happened consecutively back to back in the same week. So the biggest thing was to get the right support. Is really building a team. So when you have a small business, in my case, I don't have a staff, so I really had to secure ambassadors, securing just the people that would ultimately be the legs to help to execute the event, securing the venues, like all of that was it was a very fast turnaround. So fortunately, I am very blessed in that I've been able to, one of the key strategies that I use to really execute Style Week is collaboration. So I collaborate with a multitude of other small businesses, I collaborate with other brands, I collaborate with nonprofit organizations, and that's really been the #1 strategy that I've used to make Style Week happen. If it wasn't for collaboration, I honestly would not be able to make it happen.
I mean, with all the places and the different things you have going on, if you didn't collaborate them,
yeah,
not sure how that would.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So you said that you work with nonprofit organizations. Does Style Week give back?
Definitely. Each year, we have actually partnered with a nonprofit organization that has a women's focus. So the first year we partnered with Gwen's Girls. The second year we partnered with Strong Women, Strong Girls. And last year we partnered with Dress for Success. And the reason being is I've always believed that with fashion, it's something that a lot of women particularly are drawn to. So I felt it would be cool if we were able to, have fun and celebrate fashion, but also give back in the process. So by partnering with those nonprofit organizations, we were able to elevate awareness of them. One, we also donated a portion of our proceeds each year to them. And then thirdly, we were able to increase some of their outcomes such as generating more volunteers, generating more support for their organizations. And so it's definitely been very impactful in that way too.
And who are you working with this year?
This year, and I think this is the first time I'm actually talking about this publicly. So this year we have not partnered with a nonprofit organization because Style Week is in that process now of filing for our own 501c3.
Oh, really?
So we will be able to take the really the giving back aspect of Style Week to a bigger level by becoming a 501c3.
Oh, that is so exciting. Good for you.
Yeah.
That is so exciting.
It's the first time I've shared that.
Well, good. I'm glad it's on my show now. So when you're planning your nights and you're looking at different people you want to highlight, are people able to come up to you and say, "Hey, I know you did this last year, and I would really love to be a part of it this year"? Or do you specifically go out and look for the different people you want to highlight throughout your week?
It's a little bit of both. There are some just brands and people that I've been aware of, or I've kind of seen. I'm like, okay, we have to get you involved with Style Week. But honestly, most of it is from people who have reached out to us, or from some of the collaborators I'm working with. They'll refer other people as well. So it's really a very curated type of experience in terms of who you'll see and what it is that they're doing. I like to make sure that everything aligns. So I like to make sure that it's just not random kind of people and things coming together, but everyone really does stand out and is represented well.
Cool. So now, how much does that designer or that business owner, how much do they have to put in to help you get their stuff ready to go for Style Week?
Well, right now with the designers, always, of course, creating, designing. So right now, I just talked with both of the designers being featured, both James Hook and Lisa Kassler. I talked with them yesterday, so they're just aggressively sewing, they're just doing a lot of stitching. So honestly, the what they have to do, whether it's a designer or a photographer, stylist, a makeup, hair, whatever it is, the model, what they have to do is do what they do well, and what I do is what I do well. So what I do is I create the event, I create the marketing, the media coverage. I take care of the nuts and bolts of the event. All they have to do is do what they do very well, and we do the rest. And of course, helping to promote the events, of course, because we want for these events to, each year, we want to expand awareness of Style Week, because going back to what I was saying before, Pittsburgh is a very siloed city. So you have things that happen here that people are like, wait a minute, that happened? What? And you're like, this city is not that big. Yeah. So it helps when whoever is involved in the events, that they're also connecting awareness about the event, to their networks, whether it's on social media, whether they're sending out email blasts or helping us to pass out flyers. Like every little bit really does count. And even being on your show, like this is a great, boost as well, because it's another avenue, another platform that we can talk about what we're doing and hopefully get some of your viewers to come out.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic. I myself just learned about Style Week. I was looking through the newspaper, looking at different events that were coming up, and I remember calling Michelle and I was like, hey, Pittsburgh Style Week is coming up.
We need to get you an opening event. We need to, so you need to.
Definitely. I'm all for it, so we'll have to talk after, definitely.
Yeah.
I would love to show up for one of those. It'd be great.
Awesome.
So do you ever have a designer or a business reappear at Style Week, or is it like a one-time kind of a thing?
I've had in the past, like Lana Newmeyer, she showed a couple of years. She's a designer. So very, very rarely, but it does happen, because the idea is to give people a taste of something new, something different. So if a designer, has a new collection or something like that, it's always welcome. But I definitely like to keep it fresh.
True.
Yeah, for the most part.
That's awesome. I think it's cool that you every year have something different going on. It definitely, I feel like, would pique the interest of those who keep coming back, because you're going to get something new every single year.
Exactly. New places, new people, new fashions, and just really it's a multitude. It's the arts, and that's one of the great things that I believe with what we've been able to create in our building, in that it's very different from other like fashion weeks, in that you're not just coming and seeing designers. Like you're coming and you're seeing amazing art, you're coming and hearing great music, you're coming and experiencing wonderful venues, eating great food, so you get a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and so you said you got your inspiration from Style Week in Jamaica.
Yep.
Was there any specific person that really was like, hey, I got you, I have your back, and inspired you to really take Style Week on?
It's the people that are here. The people that inspired me are the boutique owners, the stylists, and the photographers, because I really do believe that everyone has a purpose and has a role to play. So when I find that sometimes when you are so passionate about what you do, sometimes there are things that you might be lacking in. Like maybe you're great at designing, but you're not necessarily great at promoting yourself, or you're not great at marketing yourself. So really, that is my inspiration, is to do what I can do using my strengths to give rise to the work that they do. I believe that as a human being, like whatever it is that you're doing, you need to be encouraged, you need to have support, and especially when you're an artist and you're creative, you need people to actually people to know about what it is that you do to actually generate some success. So that is what motivates me and keeps me going, is seeing how the people that are part of Style, how they're elevated by being a part of it. That is what makes me work as hard as I do and to continue to bring it back each year.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you think if you're going to do Style Week in another city, do you think you would do them at the same time? Or do you think you'd want to focus on one city's Style Week at a time?
Well, I'm ambitious, man. I'm not crazy, so I don't think I would do. I don't think I would do that. I don't think I would have them in the same week, but perhaps different times of the year. I'm actually with Pittsburgh, with Style Week Pittsburgh, I am going to be doing more events throughout the year as well here.
Okay.
So not just focusing on what's happening in August, and that's actually been people have just been asking, like, what else do you have going on throughout the year besides Style Week? So I'm focusing on establishing it here, like further establishing it, making it self-sustaining, and then at that point, I'll be interested in taking it elsewhere. But I want to make sure that everything is secure here first before I expand to another city.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want this to die away, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's still a baby. Like Style Week Pittsburgh is still a baby, and so it just makes sense that like before you start, I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, and this is a lot. I bit off a lot just with what's happening here in Pittsburgh. So yes, and after we go through this process of not only these events this year, but finalizing the process of becoming a 501c3, then that is going to be very telling. So this is a very critical year for Style Week.
That's awesome. So you said that you plan from August to April, right?
For the first event, we did from April to August, but because
Wow.
that's when I had the idea. It was in April. I said that I have to do this. At that time, I had already had a series of events planned, so it wasn't like I was just planning everything from scratch. But subsequently, yes, certainly, we start the moment Style Week is over. So this year, as soon as the final event happens on the 21st, I personally take a few days off to just like decompress and close out. After Style Week, we have a process of debriefing. I do evaluations where I ask for feedback from people who attended, from people who are volunteers. Because it's very important that every year we're improving and that it's becoming better and better. So after that whole process, then take a little bit of vacation, and then I come back and we start the whole process again.
That's so exciting. Yeah, I think I would definitely need a couple days to decompress after back to back to back.
A couple days and then a vacation. Take a couple of days and then I hop on a plane.
That's awesome. Do you have any vacation? Where are you going for your vacation this year?
I do. I'll be in Vegas.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah. It was my
fun.
first time.
You're gonna enjoy it. Yeah. My family just got back yesterday from Vegas.
Is that where you were?
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
wow. You had a great time?
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. For 5 days, we got to see a ton of stuff. We stayed at the Monte Carlo.
Wow, nice.
And it was a wonderful trip. Me and my sister. I have a twin. We just turned 21.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow, that is a great place to celebrate.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. We went with my family, and so it was a girls' trip. Nothing too crazy happened, but it was very relaxing. It was a blast, and you'll definitely enjoy it.
I'm excited.
For sure. Maybe get some more inspiration from Vegas while you're there.
Yeah, the shopping is great there. Did you go do any shopping?
Yes. Yep. A lot of shopping. They have fantastic stores, and especially if you're going from like Paris to New York, and you get a little bit of everything.
Really?
Yeah. It's fantastic.
So I bring that wallet.
Yeah. Bring it back for Style Week. Bring your wallet. Yeah. Everything like that. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It was fantastic to get to talk to you.
I'm so glad I was able to come.
Yeah. I'm glad you were here, and I'm so excited to see Style Week and be a part of Style Week and come for some of the different nights. So that's all we have for you though today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Miss Pittsburgh, Natalie DiMarino.